So part of what we are then transitioning into is trying to understand actually how to protect ourselves from different forms of sexual infections, so STI, sexual transmitted infections.
Yes.
And one of the ways that we're going to move into now is to talk about HIV and AIDS and the importance of how we protect ourselves against contracting HIV and AIDS, a very particular issue within South Africa.
I'm very interested though in speaking a bit more about what we mean by HIV and AIDS. So what exactly is the connection? What exactly is the difference? Because I've realized a lot of the times workshops esizenzayo xa uthetha nabantu umuntu uzoza kufika athi yo sisi and then kesana lo mfana wavele wangiqala into yobana une-AIDS. Actually maybe this person is HIV positive.
Yes.
And so that thin line, the thin line of this other one is a syndrome. It's a sort of some form of a collection or a collective of diseases, and what HIV is and the immune system and abantu abaninzi beva sithetha ngamasoja womzimba. So we haven't really had an actual conversation that wonke umuntu can relate to. I understand it. That's not too scientific. Ezaqalela basically into bana umahluko between HIV and AIDS.
Ja.
So
van baie keer die boodskap wat ons kry is baie keer ver van die mense af. Baie keer kry ons klomp boodskappe oor HIV en AIDS, maar dit wat word nie, ons kan nie, ons weet nie hoe om te gebruik nie. Ons verstaan nie hoe dit relate in ons eie lewe nie. Hoe apply ons die HIV en AIDS, die verskil tussen HIV en AIDS in die manier hoe ons praat oor die verskillende dinge. So what is HIV and AIDS and what's the difference between HIV and AIDS, because they are distinct?
yes. So HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus.
Yes.
It's a virus that attacks your helper T cells.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Am I on
yeah,
track?
so it will be your white blood cells, and it's particularly, and that's why the CD4 count would look at the counts of the white blood, and those white blood cells are important for fighting against infections.
Yes.
So HIV in itself is the virus attacking your immunity, your immune system, to protect your body from infection. And then AIDS would be then the point at which your body is busy losing or breaking down resistance to the last point where your body can't fight anymore. And so we call it full-blown AIDS.
Yeah. So when you're immune, you're able to protect yourself from certain infections, from certain things that might be harming your body, harming your well-being. So the minute immune system yakho say weak, a lot of diseases, they call them opportunistic diseases.
Yes, opportunistic infections. So TB is one of the major ones here in South Africa, where a lot of people die of AIDS when they have contracted multi-drug resistant TB, which is MDR TB, or extreme drug resistant TB, which is XDR TB. And sometimes pulmonary TB, which is kind of the most common kind of TB, might actually cause death in someone who's HIV positive because of that resistance.
And so when a collective, right, of these opportunistic diseases constantly attacks your body, and your immune system is not necessarily able to fight it anymore or to fight them anymore, then ubane full-blown AIDS.
Yes,
basically.
yeah. Right. And your body can pick up a lot of other infections and develop other infections and diseases such as cancers. When someone who is HIV positive is also more exposed or at risk of other STIs, sexual transmitted infections such as gonorrhea and chlamydia.
Yes.
So it's important then, Nomtika, for us to actually know how do we actually then have good sex, but still protect ourselves from this issue. Because
at the same time, we've got a lot of this information, right?
Yes.
So
and we have access to condoms.
We have access
so
to
that's supposed to be our avenue to protecting ourselves.
So there's actually some gaps here.
Yeah. Let's pause and think about, and talk about really engaging with having safe sex. So apart from preventing us from being HIV positive, how do we actually understand HIV for ourselves? Because I might be HIV positive right now, and so how do I ensure that I understand what HIV means to me and how I can actually manage
and protect the next person
and protect the next person?
Because HIV positive people have sex.
Yes, of course,
pleasurable sex. Of course,
and they should, and it's important.
Absolutely,
because we are sexual beings.
And so, we're going to talk about condoms, right? So we've got male condoms, we've got female condoms. We've got PrEP.
We've got PrEP, which is this new, and we have PEP,
and we've got PEP,
which is different forms. So
yes,
we will.
So that today it's about how do we ensure that whether or not you're HIV positive, how do you protect yourself, and how do you protect your partner, and how do you manage. How do you manage it if you are actually infected?
And if you are in a discordant relationship, if your partner is HIV positive, how do you ensure that you support and protect yourself and allow them to protect you in that process?
Absolutely. Okay. So let's talk about male condoms.
Okay.
Let's talk about male condoms.
This male condom thing, I mean, government has really tried shame.
We were able to develop a new condom which is called Max. The Max is for maximum pleasure, maximum protection, and it does not make noise at all. And it comes in different flavors. If you want a grape flavor, you can get a grape flavor. If you want an apple flavor, you can get an apple flavor.
They really tried. I mean, they have flavors now. They have different colors. The male condoms. How does that actually? I mean, how do we actually have pleasurable sex with a condom? I mean,
you can also just roll it back and just talk about how do you use. I've seen things. I've asked people if they can use condoms, and they would say yes. But can also just unpack the trauma that you actually experience when you see how people think they're supposed to use condoms. And firstly, one of the things at Funabuzazi is that a condom comes in different packages and in different packets and in different colors. Some buy them, some come in boxes, some come in situations. But on each and every one that you buy, you must make sure that the expiry date. Yes. So usually they tell you must check the expiry date and make sure that it's on not expired. Because a lot of the times you find condoms that are in 2017 that expire in 2019. Yes. You don't have to check now. Imagine in the heat of the moment you just like, baby, okay, cool, we're fine. Yes. So you might want to have la moment at least but all you're gonna do is just tear it open.
And to not have, to have an expired condom is like, oh my gosh, so what must happen? This is not happening. And immediately that opens up the risk of actually saying,
because sometimes you're going to be like, screw it.
I really feel like good sex, so... And there's no condom available, so let's just do this, baby. Let's just do it. Let's just get it done. I'm safe, you're safe. And
usually condoms has these edges that are like pointy, right? And you're obviously advised to just use the pointy edges because it's easy for you, but away fine. And then you take it out. This one is nice. It's very well packaged, nice and slim. It's nice, big and wide situation.
This smells really good.
It does. It smells like really good. So you get the tip of the condom. Yes.
Okay.
Just to sort of understand, to understand which side the tip is on, because that will determine how you roll it down.
Okay.
Yes. More than the one important aspect is the fact that you should avoid storing it where there's lots of heat and light, because then it does affect the latex. Therefore, it might tear, it might break, and a lot of.
So your underwear drawers should be fine.
Yes, like your underwear drawers should be fine. Your back pockets, not so much.
Okay.
Actually, we actually just advise people because you never know where you'll be sitting, you never know where you're walking. Sometimes you're directly exposed to like sunlight or the heat, and so the back pocket is also actually not an ideal place to keep a condom. So your drawer, your bag, in your bag, and in other just like chilled, cool.
Your front pocket should be fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then now we're gonna put it on, right? So you're holding the tip because this is usually where the ejaculation or the sperm lands, right? When you ejaculate, if you're having sex with a penis. So then you just roll it down while holding the tip.
Let's see if the size is fine because
it says big and wide.
This is big and wide. Roll. Roll.
There you go. So now you're rolling it down.
And it needs to be on an erected penis.
It has to be.
So it can't be on it needs to be hard. Okay, you need to make that penis hard first.
So then you put it on and then you make sure that you leave this allowance space. So a lot of the times condoms break because people don't leave the space to allow the ejaculation. Therefore, when a person is coming and you're like gushing out and then the condom breaks or it pops because you did not necessarily leave the space. So this is like room 4.
Yes.
Because you're gonna have great sex. So you're gonna come. So you know that this thing is gonna happen.
I'm just thinking now, Nomtika. I mean, there are so many. I mean, I have friends who complain, mainly like friends or women, and our female friends, biologically female, and they're born with, you know, vagina, and a lot of them say that the condoms create infection for them, like bladder infection.
So this
so
is
what
the thing.
what do we advise for that, and is it
Yeah.
actually true? Because that's obviously going
Experiences
to
are not the same.
Yeah.
People's experiences are not the same.
yeah.
I have not had a lot of challenges. That usually happens more specifically with flavored condoms. So
Yeah.
this is not really a flavored condom. But as you mentioned,
Yes.
the government has developed them, and I don't
Yeah.
think there's one that's not flavored. A lot of
Yes.
them have different smells and flavors,
Yeah.
and our bodies react differently to different things. For me, it might not necessarily irritate me or cause bladder infection. With bladder infections, though, we also need to remember that you need to pee before and after sex.
Okay.
Because
That's interesting.
that-
I didn't know that.
Especially
Okay.
with vaginal sex.
Sex. Okay.
So you need to just
Okay.
make sure that you always empty your bladder, because obviously the force and the friction that happens
Yes.
while you're having sex, and if you've got urine there, stale urine, it's a whole situation. So that's another conversation to be had another day.
Yeah.
But what's important is, I mean, definitely understanding your body.
So before you take it out, do you prefer to actually put on the condom yourself as a woman? Because I mean, I have penetrative sex, and I usually penetrate. So, and I'm usually the one who puts on the condom,
Yeah.
and usually my partner wouldn't know
It
that
depends. Yeah.
I've put on the condom, and they don't check
Yeah.
whether the
So-
condom is actually on properly. And many people,
Yeah,
I mean,
so there's that. There's also that discussion
Yeah.
around accountability.
yes.
Because there's also been conversations now
Because
around
how do I
stealthing.
ensure that you are
Exactly.
actually putting the condom on
Yes.
properly,
and you won't take it out.
that your partner is?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
that the
do
person will
I
not
then
actually
put
take
it
it
on?
out.
Who's the partner?
That has to do a lot with agency and the communication.
Yes.
And which is an important discussion as well,
Yeah.
around how do we ensure that we lead a healthy sex life and we're able to communicate during sex. Because for me, for example, I mean, I heard about this really cool tip. They were talking about how it's such a fun experience to actually put on the condom
Yes.
during oral sex. So maybe you
Okay.
have a foreplay and
Yes.
like, you know, humping and dry humping and like
Yes.
you're grinding. And then when it doesn't have to be fully hard, but like semi-hard, or even when it's like fully hard, you actually put on the condom. Actually have to put on the condom. Well, you can actually put on the condom using your mouth. So that creates a fun, pleasurable experience. You're protecting
Okay.
yourself, but it's nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times when it comes to flavored condoms,
And it is
you know,
pleasurable to put the
It's
condom
nice, of
on
course,
and
because
to
you're
have
giving
sex
oral
with
sex.
the
Because-
condom on.
with the condom.
Okay,
With the
okay,
condom.
great.
And it tastes nice for you as well, because I was
The
also talking about the
flavors
flavoring
actually come
and
out.
how some people actually just use flavored condoms purely for oral sex, and a lot of people have great oral sex with a condom.
Yeah.
And it's something that when you think about it and you think of this as a barrier, you actually think, actually not really. Like, I don't
Yes.
think I have great sex with this plastic, because you know, you
Yes.
also term it in a particular
Yeah,
way.
it's like-
But also, as much as yes, it's latex, and in some way
Yeah.
or another, you will feel it.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that it's very thin. It's a very thin layer, and you
Barrier,
actually can
yeah.
have great sex
Yes.
while you've got your condom on.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay, so
Yeah.
how do we actually ensure that we take it out while still being safe? That we don't have any leakages, that we
then-
don't end
yes.
up like being in a messy situation, and to put us at
throw it
risk.
away. Or how?
And
do you
how
get
do we
rid of
actually
it?
throw it away? How do we get rid of it?
So you don't flush it? Do you want to tell us how you
Can
take it
we
out?
please not? Okay, so I would definitely like secure the tip, because this is where the contents will probably be in. And just ensure that you hold the tip. So can you hold this dildo for me, babe?
All right.
So hold the tip with the contents, and then slowly take it out very
usually
nicely,
it's like
and
The
just
penis
keep
is
it.
not as hard anymore.
It's not as hard,
it's
just so
easier
it
to
will
take
be a
it
bit
out
easier
than it is.
to take out.
Yeah.
And so you ensure that when you get to this point, the head of the penis, I mean, this is where the contents will probably be. And ensure that, I mean, this is where I will usually take up some toilet paper.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of
Absolutely.
cover this,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't actually cause any mess. So I would actually then slowly just remove it and ensure that the contents are coming, kind of slowly take to the tip. So the contents will be there, and have it out. And usually the contents will be that.
Yeah.
Hold it there,
And you have
close
your
it.
tissue.
So I will ensure that, you know, I make a little knot at the end. Okay, ooh, my knot skills are not the best. have a knot at the end, have your tissue, put it in the tissue, and where will I throw it?
You don't flush it.
Don't flush
So
it.
you throw it in a bin far away where children will not necessarily be exposed to it.
Yes.
Actually, not necessarily.
Not
will
anyone,
not.
actually.
Anyone.
So
should not
don't.
be-
I mean, the bin is a bit of a challenge because we have people working in the bin. So how? I mean, we can put it. Maybe if you can label some of your plastics, I guess. To
Label
say
the condom.
no, label the bags that all your condoms come into and write my condom bag. I think that it's the best way to ensure that people know those are dirty, messy condoms, and they shouldn't be playing and going around. And even people who work in the waste industry don't actually scratch there, and they know that they should get rid of it in a particular way. So label that bag.
Label your condom.
Label your condom bag. Have a condom bag. Okay.